of Theocritus, and we move to a new section here. We're going to look at lines 64 to 93, and here the refrain changes at this point. So we see in the previous stanzas there is a build-up of tension, and Thestilis is now sent off to complete her secret task, and Simaitha is left alone. And in this section she now begins to relate to the moon the story of her meeting with and relationship with Delphus. And we get a change of refrain as well from the eonks. We get a different refrain coming in line 69. So beginning here with the noonday morna oi sapothin ton ero to da cruso. Noonday, very strong noon and a day, but now indeed, being mona, for mona, being alone, and it's a question, from whence will I lament my love? It's perhaps how shall I lament my love, but it's literally from whence, pothen. Ektinos arxomai, from what point will I begin? So at what stage will I begin? Tis moi kakon agage tuto, another question. Who brought this evil to me? So at this stage she's going to blame someone else for the problems that have happened. Enth ha to ubudoio canaphoros amin anaxo. Alsos es artemidos, teide tocapola men alla theria pompuesque peristadon in de leina. Now this Crassus here is hiding a 2 and U with a capital epsilon, so it's the daughter of Eubulus. So the ha goes with the anaxo here, or perhaps just the daughter of. So anaxo, the daughter of Eubulus. And there are different ways you can take this here. The amin is a dative for hemin, and so it could be just an ethic dative. The ain'th for ailth. So anaxo, the daughter of Eubulus, Anaxo, who was a canaphoros, that is a basket bearer. Now this may be a religious term here, especially in the context of Artemis here. So it's literally the basket bearer came into the grove of Artemis. Te, where indeed, tocapola men alla. Tokavatote, where indeed at that time many other theria, many wild beasts, pompuesque, notice the iterative form here, were marching in succession, peristadon, standing around. So en here is in the sense of among them was a lioness. Now we get this change of the refrain here. Frasdio mu ton erot hothen hiketa hotna selana. Speak of my love, from whence it came, O Lady Moon. Kai maha thumarida thraisa trophos ha megaritis. Ankithoros nai oisa katuxatok kai litanuse tan pompan thasesthai. The Thracian nurse, now this is a genitive here of Thumaridas. This is actually a genitive. So the Thracian nurse of Thumaridas. Now, ha makaritis is an odd phrase here. It's like our of blessed memory because she's dead. So literally the Blessed One, but it's meant to imply that she'd passed on. So the Thracian nurse of Theocritus, of blessed memory, Niusa Ankithuros, literally in the nearby door, so dwelling in the door nearby, so dwelling next door perhaps or nearby. Katiuxata, well, she besought me, and letane here is entreat. This is from letanuo, to entreat. So she besought me and entreated, and there's the me up here, me. Thus esthai, to go and see tan pompan, the procession. Ego de hoi ha megaloitos, her matuen busoio. And I, the megaloitos, the ill-fated one, the one with bad fate, Homer tune, I was accompanying her, and I was sarusa, participle here, so just adjust this here. This is literally sweeping, but here trailing, I think, dragging or trailing, my beautiful gown made of busoyo, made of linen. So I accompanied, the hoi here is aute, after the homatuo. So I, ill-fated one, I accompanied her, trailing my beautiful gown of linen, camphistela mena tan xustida tan clearistas. This is from Amphistello, so, and I had adorned myself with, I had literally put around myself, so I adorned myself with the xustis, which is a long dress, possibly a sort of overcoat. So I put on the long dress, the one that belongs to Clearista. Frasdiomur tonerat hothen hikata potna selana. Tell to me of my love, from whence it came, Lady Moon. Ade de Eusamesan kat hamaxiton, haita lucanos. Edon delphin homu, tekai eudamippus eontas. And just then, being, this is the feminine participle here from the verb to be, being in the middle of the wagon track. This is from it's amaxa here, but there is hamaxa, a wagon, and the it root here is connected with that ito, that verb of going, from Amy Ibo. So when we were just in the middle of the wagon track, hey, at the place where are the things of Lycone, so near Lycone's place, so where Lycone's place is, I saw Delphus I saw Delphus and also Eudamippus going homu together. Tois, for them, their geneas, their beards, were more yellow than helichrus. Stathiade, stilbonta polu pleon etu selana, and their breasts were shining much more than you, O Lady Moon. Hers apogumnasioia kalon ponon arti liponton. Now we get hose plus this participle here. It's almost like a genitive absolute. So since they were going just then, they were leaving just then, their noble task, we might say their noble workout, their nice workout, from the gymnasium. Frasdiomurton erot hothen hiketa potna salana. Speak of my love from whence it came, Lady Moon. Kos idon, hos emanen, hos moi puri thumos, iaphthe delaias, todekalos etaketo, ugeti pompas tenas ephrasaman, ud hos palin oikidi abenthon egnon, alametis kapuranosos ex esalaxen, keman den clineteri dec amata kai deca nuktas. Now we get hos unaccented, and then we get these two exclamatory hoses here. So, and this is kai and hos. So when I saw, understand him, how mad I went, and how the thumos, the heart, dated the possessor. So how my heart, iaphthe from iapto, was ignited with fire, the heart of wretched me. We get a change of form here. We've got a dative, an ethic dative of the possessor here, possibly an ethic dative, but the actual true, dative, the actual true genitive of this is delaos. So my heart, and perhaps not to translate the moi. So thus the heart of wretched me was ignited with fire, and my beauty melted away. Uketi pompas tenas ephrasamen. I no longer gave any thought to these processions, nor egnon do I know how I returned back home again. But a certain kapuranosos, a certain parching disease, exasalexin, this is from, it shook me completely, and there's the met here. So a certain parching disease shook me completely, and I lay in clintera on my bed, decahamata kai deca nuktas, for 10 days and 10 nighs. Frasdiomur ton eroth hothin hiketo pot masilana. Tell me, O Lady Moon, of my love from whence it came. Kai mucros min homoios egineto pola kithapsoi, eruin dec cephalas pasai triches autica demoi pa ostia et es kai derma, kai estinos uk eperasa kai epoios elipon graias domon hartis epeden, au hes uden elafron hodekronos anuta fugon. So she's in a very extreme situation here. She says, my flesh became like, so my flesh oftentimes became like to thapsos. This is a kind of yellowish wood from which yellow dye was made. And all the hairs literally fell out, or literally flew out. So fell out from my head. Autica here probably in the sense of alone, so only the things left, so only my bones were still left, and my derma, my skin. Now we get a question here, slightly difficult this little bit, and into of whom, so into the house of whom, es takes an accusative, so I've got to supply oikon. So into whose house did I not cross? Or, and we've got the domon here, or into the house of what sort of old woman, and the house of what sort of old woman did I leave? That is, did I leave out? So I went into every possible house of an old woman, Heartis, one who, epaden, well, sings against somebody is the root of this, but the word means to say magic spells. So whose house into the house of what sort of old woman did I fail to go? A woman who speaks magic spells. Al es uden elafron, and nothing was elafron, nothing was light or easy. But time, anuto, here anuo is to make haste, here just sped on, so time sped on, fugo and fleeing, so we might say time passed very quickly. So it was no light matter, but time passed very quickly. And then we again get the phrasdio mu, tonero, tothen hikatop hotna salana. Speak to me, O Lady Moon, of my love, from whence it came. And that's the next section of the poem.